How's it going, traders? It's the Papa Wall Street back with another weekend review. Today we're going to look at my top sectors going into next week. If you enjoy my content, make sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel below. These two actions will help more people see my work. Also, don't forget to hit the notification bell so you know when my videos come out. And if you have any questions, leave a comment down below and let me know what you think about these chart videos. And lastly, keep in mind this is not financial advice. I'm doing this only for educational purposes only. So let's dig into the charts. As always, we go over the Dow Jones Industrial Average, SPY, the Qs, IWM, and the dollar index. And then from there, we're going to look at some of the sectors that I like for this coming week. So first up, we're going to look at the Dow Jones Industrial Average, DIA. You can see nice 4-week move. It coincided with a squeeze that did fire to the downside and price is moving up, right? But it does look like momentum is shifting to the upside. So these squeezes can be tricky. Say that fast 3 times. But yeah, I think, with the Dow Jones Industrial Average, it's not something that I really track because it's comprised of 30 names, so it doesn't really represent the true market. I think the S&P is probably a truer test, but it is good to watch. And you could see what I would be watching for on DIA is any moves over 332.96. You should see a move up to 341, right to that 50 simple moving average. But I am going to watch this falling broadening wedge. And any moves into the top of it, if we see weakness at 341, which is our 618 Fibonacci retracement from the prior swing high, swing low, that's for me going to be potentially a good short. So I'm going to be watching any moves into 341. Here's SPY. You could see falling wedge breakout 2 weeks ago. Nice back test on that 236 at 390.04 with a nice bounce last week. We pushed right through the 382 retracement at 407. Next move up I'm looking for is 416. You can see for these 3 weeks it did act as resistance. Any moves over that, 421, 430, and then 435, right back up to that 50 simple moving average. And again, we are charting on that weekly chart, so we're zooming out. We're taking that big picture. Another one, we did have that squeeze fire to the downside on this gap down, but we really just chopped around and now we're swinging back up. So that's what I'm looking for on SPY. Next up is the Qs. You can see over the course of this bear market, we have been weaker than SPY. We did break well below the COVID low. We came down actually to the 2018 swing low anchored VWAP. We came fairly close to that 200 simple moving average here, but we did not test it. And now, nice 2-week move. We're back through the COVID low here. So what I'm watching next, 320 and then 332 and potentially up to that year-to-date anchored VWAP, which is in yellow, and then your 50 simple moving average here right at around 340. All right, let's look at small caps, IWM. You can see we still have not broken out. Small caps definitely weaker here, although making a similar move. What I'd want to see is a break over that downtrend line. Another one that had a squeeze fire to the downside, but looks like momentum is shifting back up to the upside. Nice little happy face there. We did push through that 236 retracement at 182. So next we have 382 retracement at 194. We'll probably see a little bit more resistance right above there. Let's see, right here at around 189. You can see that acted as resistance here and then potential support back here. So actually it looks like more like 188, and we did tap that, so that's pretty interesting. So over 188, yeah, 194 can come next. And here's our dollar index. So obviously we are breaking out on a relative basis from the January 17 highs and the January 20 highs. We had a nice breakout, a little false breakout, and then kind of broke right back down and then came right back up, and now we're pushing higher. So yeah, I mean, the dollar index, it kind of works inverse of the market. If it's going up, generally the market's going down. If it's coming down, generally the market's going up. And so it looks like we're retracing here. What I'd watch for is a move back down to 103.815. That would be retesting the breakout over these 2017 and 2020 highs that we had as resistance. And remember, in trading and in charting, resistance, when it gets broken, often flips, right? It turns into support. And when support gets broken to the downside, it often turns into resistance. And so I would watch for the same thing here and watch for a bounce back off of the level that I mentioned. Okay, let's dig into some of the sectors. Big move on TAN last week. This was your solar index. We had big earnings on Tuesday. ENPH reported, had a monster move. That sent us big. Solar Edge, Run, FSLR, all setting up as well and moving nicely. You could take a look at some of those charts. You could search for them, post most of them on Instagram and Twitter. If you want to just see charts, definitely check out my Instagram. It's at the Papa Wall Street. And this past weekend, I did post all of the solar charts in one carousel. So, and I also broke down SPY. Keep in mind, this is the final day of July. So Monday morning when the market opens, it is going to be a new month. So always look at those monthly candles as well. But in any event, TAN looking spectacular. Solar is shining. I mean, how many puns can you come up with here? They're hot sector right now. But next move I'm watching for is up to 90.67. That's going to be your 50% retrace. And any moves over that, I would say 98 and 100 can come next. So solar looking really hot right here. Next up is clean energy, ICLN. They do share some of the same names. Let's see, ENPH and Solar Edge are in here, but there are also going to be some other clean energy. You know, there's going to be some wind mixed in there, maybe some geothermal, natural gas maybe, who knows. But really, the key is breakout. Big breakout here. You can see off that downtrend line, resistance, and now breakout. So we broke through the 236. Next target's going to be 23.18, 24. 40 and 25.30. A couple of things you're going to notice. My charts are dark. I mentioned that in my prior video. So moving forward, all my charts are going to be that. The white Fibonacci's are going to be your retracement levels, and your pink Fibonacci's are going to be your extension levels. So just keep in mind there are two different systems of Fibonacci here that I use. I also use more, but I don't show that necessarily on these public-facing videos. They're more for my private community. But yeah, ICLN, clean energy looking really strong with TAN. Next up is energy, XLE. I did notice with big tech reporting last week that that energy, XLE, think about ExxonMobil, Chevron Corp, ConocoPhillips, those names, they were showing some nice relative strength early in the week. And while tech was reporting earnings, and then we kind of shifted back towards tech after the Amazon and Apple earnings reports. But yeah, I think clean energy, or why do I keep saying clean energy? Energy, right? Nice bounce off the 50 here, another bounce off the 50 here, another bounce off the 50 here. We're back through the 236 retracement from the prior swing high, swing low. So if we can break back over $80, then 93.31 would be my target to the upside. Next up is XLU. These are your utilities. Another one that I've been tracking, another one that showed some relative strength last week. You can see this big move through our 618 Fibonacci retracement. That actually should be white here, so let's just fix that. There we go. And yeah, I would expect to move back up to 75.54 here. It did act as prior resistance. We had a false breakout here back in April. And any moves through this level, 77.23, you would see some of these levels to the upside, probably terminating between 85 and 88. Next up is XLRE. This is your real estate sector spider. Another one that showed some relative strength last week, over the last 2 weeks actually. We did push back through that 382 retracement at 43.76. We are still under our now flat and declining 50 simple moving average. So that would be the area I would watch first. Do we come into it and get rejected, or do we come into it and then continue to break out? So 46.97 and then 49.26 to the upside. And then last but not least is XLI. These are your industrials. You could see we did flatten out at this top here, and we have been retracing for quite some time this year, but we're starting to show a little more strength, and you can see here, nice breakout here over this downtrend line. So 96.07, we stopped just there, right? And let me zoom that up a little bit so you can see. So any moves over 96.07, then 98.89 to the upside. I guess I don't have this charted out, but you could look up under ETF.com, look up XLI, and it'll give you what the holdings are for this sector ETF. So those are the sectors that I'm going to be watching this week. Of course, there's always going to be individual names in other sectors that might show relative strength, but generally speaking, this system does me right. I look at what is showing relative strength. I look at the top two, I would say, strongest names or best setups from those ETFs going into next week. And that generally is how I start building my watch list on what I'm going to trade. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. Like I said, if you liked it, please hit that like below. And if you enjoy my content and you're not following me, make sure to hit that follow button. And if you want to see these videos as soon as they come out, you just hit the bell and get those notifications right away. So thanks again for your time. I do appreciate it, and I will catch you in the next video.